less than 2 days until the Aikido with Mind and Body Coordinated for LGBTQ plus series begins. And I'm really excited to be hosting and teaching this. Thank you to NOLA Aikido for making available the virtual space to create this really accessible program of teaching Aikido for people like me. And I am really excited to be able to open up this opportunity. As far as I'm aware, this is the first of its kind in the world of Aikido, creating a class exclusively for LGBTQ people and taught by an LGBTQ person. So just wanted to share my excitement and my sort of effervescence about what's coming up and talk a little bit about another concept we're going to be looking at in the class. So again, this class is open to beginners of all varieties, beginners to martial arts, beginners to embodied practice in general, beginners to anything to do with the body, as well as open to practitioners of all the arts of yoga, of other martial arts, of Aikido itself. And I really hope that you will take the opportunity to come, maybe learn something new, maybe continue to work on things that you've already experienced with. I'm going to be, in the course of this class, combining both philosophy and sort of principles of Aikido practice with the practical tools and applications of the practice. And so that will entail doing movements, embodiment work, breath work, meditations, groundwork, stretching, somatic awareness practices, as well as looking at some of the very specific martial tools and applications of Aikido. And we'll be spending a lot of time talking about having some discussions, hopefully generating questions and thoughts about the philosophy behind Aikido, which is deeply connected to and rooted in some other traditional spiritual paths. And I want to talk a little bit today about one of the kind of foundational elements that we'll be putting into our embodiment practice. So this is a great way to talk about where the philosophy comes right into the embodiment. The symbology of square, triangle, and circle. So you might be familiar with this symbology in one form or another in different arts and different practices from Western or Eastern systems. But I'll talk a little bit about my practices and my experience with that. So in Aikido, we talk about these three shapes as representing kind of different dynamics of movement and of patterns in partnered work, in sort of moving with attacks and responding to attacks. But those three structures are kind of rooted in both lots of Japanese practices and philosophies, and also connect directly to Chinese medicine system. And you can think of them in these three ways. The square is sort of the middle. It is both yin and yang. It is balanced. It is sturdy. But the square can also be kind of lacking in movement or stuck or unable to change. And so just some ideas around that symbol. The triangle is, of course, very dynamic, directional, sort of imposition. So the triangle is often oriented around an attack or an entering. But of course, the triangle can also be, that kind of energy can be like aggressive. And that is associated with yang energy, the energy of directness, of direct action. And then the circle, which is kind of the yin energy. The circle is fluidity, is ease of movement and flow, ability to change and maneuver really easily. So there's kind of multiple levels where these symbols exist. They exist, one at that energy level of yin and yang and different energy systems through the body and in the whole universe. They exist at that sort of philosophical textual level where we can study some of their meanings, look at them geometrically, say in the two-dimensional drawing, for example. And we'll be doing some of that in the class. We'll be looking at the images, we'll be looking at the geometry, and we'll be talking about these meanings. And then, of course, there's the embodied level, which is what we're really going to work on with some of these things, is embodying how these three shapes relate in the course of, say, one specific movement, or in general in our bodies day in, day out. So not just in martial arts and self-defense, but in general mental, emotional, psychological, and physical well-being. How do we find this balance of yin and yang in center? How do we find balance of stability, flow, and change, and direct action and entering. So these philosophies of movement in Aikido practice have these great mirroring applications to our daily life. And I think that's, to me, the most important benefit of Aikido practice, is how its martial arts and philosophy scope become really supportive of embodied health, mental health, self-growth, all these great things. So I really hope that some of you will come join the class again starting this coming Sunday. It's less than 2 days. And we will have a class every Sunday through October. This is definitely not the last time I'm going to be teaching a series for LGBTQ plus folks. And I'm just really excited to share and to get to meet everyone. So I hope to see you there. And thank you so much.